Okay. Says it's loading.
Es en inglés, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Double checking.
Sí.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So we're live now. Hi everyone. So my name is Elisa Ochoa. I'm one of the co-founders in Semilla, and right here in this call we have Barbara and Carolina, which are the co-founders of Binge Knitting. So we want to know more about this brand, and this is one of the reasons we're making these videos. That way you can get to know more about the brand, know about the founders, know the story, and you get to know the amazing products that they have and that we're going to be selling in shopsemilla.com. So let's get to know more about the co-founders. Who wants to start? Hi Barbara, hi Caro. Who wants to introduce themselves?
We're very excited to be a part of Semilla.
Nice. Do you wanna start, Barbara? Like, who are you? Where are you from? What got you into fashion? Just a little background about yourself.
Okay, so I'm Barbara and this is Carolina. We're both co-founders of Binge. We started the brand a few years ago, well, 7 years ago now, when we were living together in New York. We were studying at Parsons. Carolina studied fashion design, and I studied design and management. And as I said, we lived together and we both shared a love for knitting. So we would always be in our apartment making blankets, scarves, things for our friends, and that's how our brand started and how we eventually grew to what Binge is today.
Yeah. Did you guys started knitting together, or that was something in common that you have previously?
It was something in common that we had by coincidence, and when Bai knew how to knit when she was very little, and I learned how to knit already in Parsons. I had a textiles class, and that's how I got into knitting. So then when we lived together, it was when I was like starting to knit and like love it. So we would literally binge knit and watch TV and drink wine, and that's how it all started. So it started very organically.
Oh, I love that. I love the story of like two best friends finding something in common and then like creating something amazing with like a sustainability and like a reason behind it. So I love that. And are you guys both from Monterrey? Like, did you knew each other before going to Parsons, or you guys met at Parsons?
Yeah, so we knew each other from childhood, and then after we graduated, we came back to Monterrey, and we had already had a few years of Binge. So when we came back to Monterrey, this is where we started like our logistics and production and setting our roots back home.
Mm-hmm. What made you start your own brand? Like some people just leave their hobby as a hobby and then don't create a brand out of it. So what like impulsed you into the entrepreneurship and like starting your own brand business?
I think, as Caro said, it was very organic, and we were very lucky to be able to merge our hobby and our passion with what we do today in our business. We started organically because people were asked, like they would see us knitting in class or at school, and we would get a lot of comments and questions like, what are you making? Can you make one for me? Can I buy one for my mom or my sister? And so that's where we saw the potential of what a handmade piece, and when people see the detail that goes behind the making of an item, really gives value to what you're making.
And to the piece, yeah.
I love that. I mean, I personally love handmade stuff, and every time I see something that's handmade, I'm like, oh my god, it's so cute. And I think Binge Knitting like 100% represents that. So what's now that we know a little bit of the story of how like Binge Knitting starting, which one was one of your first designs?
So for the handbags, this one, the Sophia clutch, was actually our first handbag that we designed, and it was about 6 years ago, so it was at the beginning, and it still continues to be our best-selling bag. We've obviously like perfected the design and the construction of it, and we updated it every season with new colors, textures. but it still continues to be our bestseller. So that's why we love it so much. It's like our staple handbag.
I love it. It's amazing because, like, I mean, of course, there's like so many different varieties of fashion brands, and some people start with like their first fashion, like first design, and then they just forget about it, or like it's not trending anymore, so they don't use it again. And it's amazing that Binge Knitting has like their first design, and they just keep improving it, and it keeps selling. Like you love it, and you can just keep buying new colors, and you're gonna find something to match it in your wardrobe. So amazing on that.
Mhm. Yeah.
What are some of the materials that you guys use for Binge Knitting for your products?
So we always try to look for sustainable materials that we can incorporate into our designs. For our handbags, we mostly use recycled and upcycled textiles. So we feel that that also gives a lot of value to the piece, because when you buy it, you know you're helping or you're not contaminating
The environment.
the environment.
Yeah, so actually this one is made of upcycled textiles, and upcycling means it was material that would be considered waste. So like the leftovers that come from textile mills, instead of being discarded and thrown into the trash, it's rescued and created into like yarn bobbins that we can use and make into a new product. So that's what upcycled means. And this one, which is the one that you also have right there, is recycled, which is a slightly different process, but
it's a different process because recycled is more easy to standardize the colors, whereas upcycled, for example, when we have a blue bag, the tonalities between the blue may vary, where in recycling, they also come from waste from textile industry, but it's more easy to standardize the coloring.
Yeah, they go through like a process of recycling where the cotton is like blended, and that's why the dyes are the same, because they do go through a different process. The upcycling is literally the fabric as it is, without dye, without any other process. So that's the slight difference.
Nice. So what made you guys go into sustainability with your brand? Because I know that a lot of brands decide to not go that route, even though like right now the market is basically screaming for brands to be like more eco-conscious and more ethical in their ways of production. But I know that some brands decide not to. What made you guys like go through that route?
So I think the fashion industry, and maybe all industries in general, are slowly moving into being more sustainable and more conscious about their whole supply chain. So I think, for example, now it's easier for us to have access to recycled and upcycled materials. So why not choose them instead of other materials that are also easy to get, but maybe are not as sustainable or as smart for the product.
And what are some tips or recommendations that you give other people that want to start also like a fashion brand with like upcycled or recycled materials? Like, are there any challenges or any recommendations that you can give us?
Yeah, I think there are definitely challenges because there are not like as readily available as if going to a fabric store and buying whatever you see. But if you are planning on starting a sustainable brand, I think you can like start close to home, like what's readily available to you in your hometown, in your own closet even. You can like start to recycle your own clothes that you would maybe give away or take out, and start from there, and start depending on where you live, seeing if you have access to factories, like textile factories that are based close to you that can give you their waste and you can transform it into something else. Because obviously textiles is not the only type of material that is upcycled. You can upcycle plastic, or the like tin cans. We've seen lots of bags made out of the pop caps.
Yeah.
There's like basically everything can be upcycled. If you want to start a furniture line, you can basically go into thrift stores and buy furniture and remake it. So I think it's like to not be limited, because it is kind of limited, and you could see it that way, but like don't stop because of that. And there's always a way to find those resources.
Yeah, keeping an open mind and being
Mhm.
able to experiment with what you have around you.
Yes.
And I love that because recently, well, not recently, but if you're in like the fashion business, you know that, for example, I don't know, you buy the yard of fabric, and sometimes like the way how tall it is I don't know, like 40 inches, and you need 36, and then those
Mhm.
4 inches are left over, and like you cannot do anything with it. So it's
Exactly.
a way of being creative and like gathering all that fabric or all those clothes and seeing how you can use it to
Mhm.
create different products. And a lot
Yeah.
of people also think like fashion is like a certain way, and it has to be like a guide or like follow me and
Mhm.
my guide and whatever. But it's not. It's about just being creative and what you can do with the materials that you have at home as well.
Right.
Yes,
And
exactly.
even with the scraps that seem very small, you can also be creative and make, for example, keychains, tassels,
Or
pom poms,
bracelets, or
bracelets.
yeah, there are like endless possibilities of what you can make with discards.
I love it. I love that. Okay, so what are some of the challenges that you face by like having a sustainable brand, like with upcycled and recycled materials?
So I think, as we said, a little bit about how tonalities may vary between bag to bag. We always try to give the message of how every bag is unique in its construction, material, and tonality. And I think our clients really understand that and appreciate it. But it's a challenge to be able to communicate that.
Yeah, it's like it's been a process of trying to educate our own customer and consumers into what upcycled means, because it's kind of like a new word in the dictionary. And but it's definitely something that they, once they learn what it is, they appreciate it. We've never had like a setback because of it, but the challenge has been to kind of just communicate, like Bobby said, what it is, what it means, and why it varies.
So going more into like informing or creating more conscious shoppers, I feel like one way, and as you guys say it, and you have it on your bio or in the about us section, that you want a more transparent and kind uh, form of supply chain. How is binge knitting being more kind and more transparent with their like audience or with their customers in the supply chain?
So we like to communicate through our social media. We like to highlight the artisans we collaborate with by telling about their stories, what motivates them to keep knitting or to start knitting. And also inside each bag, we include a postcard with some images of the artisans we collaborate with. And in the back, we tell a little bit about our story, binge values, and also it's hand signed by the person who made the bag.
I love it. It gives it so much personal detail, and you actually like appreciate each piece more because you know it's made by like someone that it's putting so much effort into this piece to make it to your home and for you to like use it wherever you want to use it and style it, and you know that you're supporting something good, but something
Mhm.
ethical, and that you're happy to use it. So I love it. I love that story.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so how do you incorporate your like Mexican traditions into binge knitting? Because I know that you guys don't only focus on like knitting, you also focus on giving back to the community. So how do you incorporate Mexican traditions in it?
Well, I think we incorporate it in different ways. Design wise, I think we are always very inspired by our Mexican heritage and culture, and the amazing talent that we see when we travel to different towns in Mexico. So we're always like, that has always been sort of ingrained in our DNA and our
The
brand DNA.
architecture, the colors.
Yeah. So definitely our culture, our visuals that surround us are very, very much a part of our designs. Like Bobby said, architecture, the colors, nature. So yeah, and as to how we support our Mexican heritage is through the collaboration with the artisans. They're obviously Mexican. They are here from our hometown in Monterrey. So that's also kind of like, it's very close to home, literally, and it's very rewarding to be able to give back to the community in a way that we love, and that's very like natural to us through knitting, through what we love, through our brand. It's not like you're like starting a fundraiser for a different cause that maybe you're not as connected to. So it's very personal.
No, yeah, and I mean, th- since I'm living here in the U.S., I know that a lot of people, when you sell an item that like includes a Mexican tradition or that it's part or that it's made in Mexico, sometimes they're not informed. Like, oh, you're just sending it like to produce it in Mexico because it's cheaper, and it's like, no, we're actually creating jobs in Mexico. We're actually like focusing on making the community better. Like, I'm actually trying to be a good boss, a good like form of example to them, and like to follow their traditions and to let them live the lives that they want to be in. Like they love being artisans. They actually like it. So it's
Yeah.
a way of
Yeah, and also knitting is an art that is passed through generations. So the artisans we collaborate with, they have learned knitting from their mothers and their mothers from their grandmothers. So it's very enriching also to see how traditional manufacturing techniques or traditional stitches are now incorporated into our more modern designs. So that also brings a lot of originality to the product, we think.
I love it. No, and you can see like like the knitting expertise artists, like artisans made this. Like it's
Yeah, they're very talented. We're lucky to be able to work with them. But yeah, Bobby said they already know how to knit. They sometimes like even teach us things that we didn't know. So it's a very nice relationship and process.
Yes, it's a collaboration between
Yes.
communities.
Yeah, it's very collaborative, and also knitting creates a lot of community. So through the years, we've really built and maintained a special, strong group of women that we are happy to grow every day and to be able to keep learning.
I love it. I love it so much. Okay, so before we finish, in Semilla, we love styling tips. So we want to hear some of your styling tips with, I don't know, your favorite piece or the piece that you wore the most with binge knitting. Personally, one of my favorite ones is the bucket bag, and I feel like I can wear it everywhere. So I want to hear your styling tips.
Well, I think it all depends on your personal style, but I think you can always like dress it up or dress it down. So like the Sophia clutch, which is our what we call our bestseller, you can take it like casually with a day dress or like a casual dress to the beach. And you can also dress it up with, if you're going out to dinner, you can wear something a bit nicer, a bit more, I don't know what the word is, but like, yeah, a little more dressed up. And so it's very versatile. They're all very versatile. I think sometimes knitting or knitted bags can be related to beach bags, and our designs prove that that's not necessarily true. You can like wear them to the beach and lots of more places.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
continue.
No, and this one, the bucket, which is also one of our favorites. It's this one too. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. We love that you can take out the tassels in case you want like a different look. You can have it without the tassels, and it looks like a little more simple or like less I don't know, playful. And so the same thing applies. You can dress it up, dress it down. It also depends on the color you get, obviously. But we try to design pieces that are very versatile and can go well with many different types of outfits.
Yeah, and in our colors, we always try to include both neutrals and pop of color so that our clients can have both options.
Yeah, they can go either like a classy look or have fun with their look. So
Mhm.
you can have both options. Actually, like this one, I took the tassels out and I wore it to like a day wedding, and people were loving it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. That's what I meant when by taking out the tassels, you give it a different look. It looks very different, and you can obviously wear it like with a nice dress to a wedding, and it looks great.
Yeah, for weddings, they're beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so to finish, what are the future plans of Binge Knitting?
Our future plans are to continue to grow our community of artisans, continue to grow our own business, obviously, and um, challenge ourselves to be more innovative, to create new products, maybe new lines of products eventually, and just continue to grow and evolve
Okay.
with our core values in mind always.
Mhm.
No, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see new colors or any new designs that Binge Knitting is planning. I know that for now we're gonna have our tote bags, we have the Sophia clutches, and we have the bucket bags in Semilla, but I cannot wait to see more colors and more designs to keep incorporated into our shop.
We're
And
very excited to have Semilla's clients get to know
Our
our
story.
our story and also our products, and we're always working on new and exciting things for upcoming seasons.
oh, well, no, thank you, Caro, and thank you, Gabi, so much for your time and for the interview. We really appreciate it, and our community really appreciates it because, as you said at the beginning, we're trying to create more conscious shoppers, and this is a perfect way of them getting to know the founders, getting to know the story, and getting to know what they're actually buying. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Elisa.
Thank you.
No, it was a pleasure. Bye.
Bye. ¿Ya salió?